Hey guys, welcome to the Two Knives Crew podcast, the inaugural podcast, right?
Terrifying.
So, equal parts awesome and scary. My name's Chris.
Jonathan.
We are knife enthusiasts. I know I am for sure. I probably delve a little more into EDC gear as well.
Very much so.
I daily carry a lot of things, probably a little more than Jonathan does.
You carry a knife every day.
Yeah, there we go. That's the best place to start, right? So we are coming to you today with our inaugural podcast with a super awesome topic, because something that we're super excited about. We went to our first Blade show, and we started off with a banger. We just bypassed all the smaller ones and went straight to Atlanta. Amazing experience.
Yep.
Jonathan, I think you can...
Yeah, I'll fully back that. It was, we'll get into that in a little bit. Don't know totally what I was expecting, but it blew expectations out of the water. We had a riot. It was the first real guys trip that we had done. It's cool. Families get along. We've known each other a while, and it was super cool to go out and do something, just the three of us. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're from Southwest Missouri, so we are blessed to be in the outdoors and to do a lot of things. So pocket knives are kind of essential. A lot of other tools are very essential for us as well. We just like to get out and play with our toys and play with sharp, stabby things. And we're also really lucky to have somebody that is local to us here that owns a wonderful knife shop. We'll give a shout out to Isaac at Springfield EDC. We'll give you all his info in the bios below. We'll also shout it out here at the end of this podcast as well.
Isaac's been great. We appreciate he gave us heads up on Blade Show, and he's always willing to talk BS with us. Doesn't even have to be about knives. The guy's just super approachable, and he's got a cool shop. So appreciate you, Isaac.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we like to start off every show. I think we're going to try and make it a tradition. We're going to kind of call each other out and just see what's in our pockets right now. I know I have a few staples that I carry all the time, and knives rotate for sure. I am a true believer in, no matter if it is a $50 knife in my pocket or if it's a more expensive knife in my pocket,
$450 knife.
I do carry all of my knives. So I was told at a Blade show at one point that I was a unicorn in that matter, but I think there's more of me out there. I think a lot of you guys carry the knives that you buy. And yeah, dude, they're tools. Get out there and use them. So, Jonathan, I guess I'm going to call you out first. What do you got?
I decided to do something a little different. Probably one of the first slightly more expensive knives that I ever carried was a Kershaw Leek, which is not expensive by half the stuff we've got anymore. But it was such a nice little knife. You know, I loved the design. I loved how thin it was, and it went everywhere with me. So I've got a soft spot for especially U.S.-made Kershaw stuff. So I've got
nice
Bel Air with their marbled
carbon fiber.
You got it, marbled carbon fiber, that really pretty flat grind and Magna Cut, and the thing disappears in pocket. It's light. It's super slicey.
Hold that up to the camera. Let them see that thing. You have to go forward some. Yeah. That's a nice one. That's a nice one.
It disappears if I'm dressed up for the day. It's easy to carry, and I love the marble.
And it's better than a bug out.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there will be a point, and if not every podcast, most podcasts, that Chris brings up the fact that Benchmade's high on his list.
Yeah, absolutely. They're high on my list. It's not a good list, but it's a list.
What are you carrying today?
Today, I've actually, this gets more rotation in my pocket than any other knife that I have. This is the ProTech Vero collab for the Synapse. I love this thing. I can remember the day I went in and bought it from Isaac. He had just gotten a ProTech order in, and we talked to him for probably 30 minutes, and he goes, "Well, I got ProTech stuff in." I was like, "Come on, man.
Why didn't you
lead
with
that?" We
that?
have to say this right now. We're kind of ProTech junkies. We will tell you that right now.
Big fan.
Big fan of them, and we'll get into that even more here in a little bit. But he goes, "Yeah, I got the new Vero in," and I was like, "Dude, you should have said that when I walked in the door," and you knew that, but I think he was baiting me a little bit. That's fine. This thing is just phenomenal. I mean, the blade shape, everything.
Super usable.
Super usable, super practical. It's Magna Cut, so you can't beat that. It's got Protex action, so man, I love that thing.
And for the size, I mean, it's not stupid heavy, and it disappears.
It does. And of course, I've got my trusty Olight. It's the S2R Baton 2. It's an oldie. I've had this thing for about 7 years. If you ever see a close-up of it, which you might in some photos and stuff whenever we start dropping on our social media, it looks well loved.
It's battle worn.
the button on the top that's supposed to glow green doesn't anymore because there's literally no color left in the button. But I can't kill this thing. It works. I love it. Most everybody knows about the Olight. It has a magnet on the back. That's how it charges. You can stick it to anything. I do a lot of work where I have to take a lot of screws and things out of things whenever I'm taking furniture apart and things like that. And I can just stick it right there to the metal, and I've got light under a desk or something. So that's pretty much it today. Kind of carrying light. It's hot right now in Missouri, so we're 90s and it's getting pretty miserable.
Gross.
So
Quickly.
Like to stay indoors if we can sometimes during this time, but we've got a lot of water around too. So so that's a little bit about us. Hey, what about you talked about having like a leak, which I will never bash on the leak. I think that might be Kershaw's probably got to be close to one of their best selling knives ever.
Has to be.
I'm sure that the Bel Air and the Iridium is probably running up on it because those are great knives.
Yes.
But man, that leak it seems like, Walmart has them, guys, so they're everywhere.
But a great design, Ken Onion stuff, and again, such a thin, easy to carry knife. It's one of those that just disappears in pocket, and I still have one floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
Well,
tell me about your first knife that you can remember having, and then maybe that next step where you were like, oh man, I've arrived. I've bought the expensive knife.
I feel like I'm being set up here. The leak was probably the first over $30, $40 knife that I had bought for myself. Ended up buying an orange one and gave it to my little brother. He still carries it to this day. I've got a blue one with their stonewash finish, and I beat the snot out of it. It still runs a little bit of oil, a little bit of compressed air, and the thing just keeps trucking. Love it. And then when I say I'm a novice to this, I almost to the day 2 years ago, I bought my first really expensive knife. I went and deep rabbit hole, did the dive, Benchmade came across. I am a sucker for a good bug out. That being said, I bought the most expensive or second most expensive mainstream bug out that I could find. It's the Starburst pattern black blade with M390, and that was the first expensive knife I had bought. I still have it. I've got an attachment to it. I like the weight. I know the whole point of the bug out is that it's light, and I like the aluminum scales, so I've got both of the aluminum scale 390 steel models just because I've got a soft spot for those. So that was my first real expensive knife.
And myself, I can remember all through. From the time that I went out hunting with my dad and things like that. So I always had a pocket knife. I had countless Gerbers and charades and things like that.
Same.
That I can remember one charade in particular that had a belt loop, and the belt loop actually connected into the handle of the knife, and it had a push button where you could take it off the lanyard to use it.
Okay.
I thought that was the coolest thing ever. It was also fully serrated, so it was pretty much useless for a 12-year-old. But
it looks really cool.
Still cut things that'll look cool. So fast forward to it's probably been 7-8 years ago. And Jonathan's gonna love this. My first expensive knife, I thought that I had gone out and done something. I spent $115, I think, on a Benchmade mini Griptilian. Man, talk about I don't even think that thing was G10 handles. It was some sort of polymer or something.
Whatever their Grivery stuff is.
Something like that. It was a super cheap steel. And ironically, I saw on Blade HQ that Benchmade just dropped the mini Griptilians again. So I still have that mini Griptilian. I may do something real dumb and maybe go buy some really expensive scales and put on it just for shits and giggles. I still have that knife. It sits in a drawer in its bag and probably hasn't seen light in about 4 years. So
the funny part is, as much crap as you give me for the number of Benchmates I have owned, have sold, you are batting 1,000 for Benchmate ownership. You've owned one and not ever sold.
All right, I'll take that one. I think that the volume of Benchmates that he owns will always outweigh me. So, so let's move on. Let's get into Bladeshow.
Yeah, the big deal.
The big hurrah. So I know I went in and talked to Isaac to kind of get some ideas. I know you did.
A couple times, but you did a lot of the legwork.
What kind of advice did you get from him, like basically to kind of...
I think we both got about the same, and we appreciate that. 1,000 vendors, makers.
Yeah.
This is foreshadowing. You can't see everything. So Isaac's big thing was kind of have a plan of attack. Get your top 10, get your top 20 that you've got to see. If there's anyone doing a Bladeshow exclusive or a super limited quantity, hit those guys first.
And if you don't have an early bird ticket, you won't get those first.
No. I mean, that's a whole different. Yeah, for a first one, I'm glad we didn't. We didn't know enough to really take advantage of an early bird. Yeah. But even day 3, we were seeing new stuff, and we'll get into that. But the biggest thing from Isaac was have a little bit of a plan of attack. I may have taken that theory and run with it a bit more, but that's OCD on my half. But meh.
So to kind of preface this, I mentioned to the boys there's a third person for us that went down with us. His name's Ben. He was gracious enough to lend us his knife so we can kind of show you what all of us bought.
He's prettier than both of us too. I don't know why he's not here.
We should definitely have him on screen at some point. But I tossed this idea out, like, let's go to Bladeshow. What do you think? We talked about going to Texas. That kind of came and went. That landed right on my birthday weekend. I think you had something going on too.
My son's birthday.
Yeah, that's right. And so it really didn't work out timing-wise. But then we kind of mentioned Atlanta, and our wives were down with it. I think they were happy to get rid of us for 4 days.
A little sad we came back, I think.
Yeah, I think especially whenever they saw what we bought, they were definitely sad we came back.
That's fair.
No, I went in and talked to him, kind of the same thing. Like, have an idea of what you're looking for, go after, if you're looking for 1 or 2 things specifically, go get those and then go wander the show.
Yep.
He said, spend that first, half day going around seeing the ones you really want to see and then wander the aisles. And I think that was great advice. He also gave us some really good advice to make sure that we got in the right line because he knew that we were going to want to go to ProTech first, and there were a couple others in there that we wanted to see in the main room, and we still managed to foobar that. So,
Thanks, Isaac. We suck.
Yeah. So, also, about 2 days after I mentioned even going, I got a text message from Jonathan, and there was a map and an exhibitor list that was highlighted and numbered out exactly where it was at. And I at that point, and I gave him a whole bunch of crap for it, but I will tell him that's exactly why I love Jonathan. He's the planner and the prepper whenever it comes to that kind of stuff.
I really don't feel like that guy, but I hit that one, I guess.
He did. He hit that one really good. He hit it right on the head. So the plan went awry regardless, but first of all, we fly into Atlanta. We get there on Thursday night pretty late. We finally get to our hotel, which wasn't too far. Well, we actually got to the wrong hotel first and then got to the
2
other
Ubers
hotel.
got us there.
So Waffle House was in walking distance, and you're in Georgia, you have to go to Waffle House. So crowded Waffle House. It's like 11:30 at night. We're getting up to leave to go pay our bill, and there's 2 guys standing there with Zombie Tools shirts on. It's very obvious that they're there for Bladeshow. So, of course, we wanted to strike up a conversation, and we got to talking to them. Jonathan, I think, was the one that turned around and was like, hey, I'm assuming Bladeshow, right?
It's not that I don't know a stranger, but we were super excited, man. First trip, first Bladeshow. And holy crap, it's almost midnight. And of course, randomly, we run into a couple of makers sitting right there. And the guys were awesome. I mean, went over there. It was stupid easy to strike up a conversation. And that was kind of the reoccurring
for the
theme.
whole time. Yeah,
surprised the crap out of us. How approachable, nice, kind, friendly, genuine, all the good words. But these two guys from Zombie Tools, easy to talk. They recommended a couple of guys that we go see, told us where their booth was, told us swing by, we'll get you some koozies, we'll get you some stickers. Yeah. We didn't know that swag was such a big deal, but I mean, we got a bazillion stickers. Just super cool guys. So yeah, we wanted to make dang sure we went and visited them. So that may have gotten added to the list when we got back to the hotel room.
May have been added to the purchases also.
Yeah.
So we did ask them, like, hey, what's your all's take on, like, should we be in line super early? Should we kind of knew how the process was going to work, at least the way they outlined it. And we said, should we be there early so we can be close? And he's like, dude, there's people in line already. And I was like, seriously? Already in line? He goes, oh yeah. He goes, I picked up our badges like yesterday morning and there were people already in line. And then doing some follow-up after the show, I watched some videos and there were people there that were there the Monday before. So I'm never going to be that guy.
No.
So we got to see everything we wanted to see, and we got everything we wanted to get, and we got a few surprises.
Yes.
And we got up and got in line about 8:30.
I think we were over. It was about a 20-25 minute walk from our hotel over, which was great. We liked the location. If the stinking walkover bridge would get finished, it would have made life easier. But beside that, truthfully, we lucked out, got into line, and we were all ready to be out in the humidity, the heat, and stand there for a few hours. We lucked out. We got there decent time, and we were actually inside in the air conditioning.
Yeah. And actually not that far from the front of the normal, the general admission tickets.
Yep.
They get in at 11 on Friday. So we met some really interesting people just standing in line, which was really awesome. Very first thing we walk up, there was a police officer. I think he said South Carolina.
Maybe.
But he was cool to talk to, but he was also standing next to a guy who we got to talking to. His name was Eddie. And we come to find out that Eddie is orbital knives and a maker himself. And, he commissions his stuff out to have other makers and other creators kind of come up with designs and things. And he pulls out, I forgot the name of it. Paul Munko is who designed it. Really cool knife.
Yeah. And it was kind of two-tone and fit the hand nice, great action. It was running on bearings, if I remember.
Bearings, I'm pretty sure, but super nice knife, super nice guy.
That's the big deal.
We stood there and talked to him for probably 45 minutes while we were kind of waiting.
Killing time in line.
Killing time. And at that point, they came and gave us all our wristbands and told us to move to a different line area. We followed their instructions, but
as best we could.
Didn't realize that we ended up, they kind of transferred us to the early bird line.
And the early bird line for the smaller room.
Right. That's the baller room. So, little faux pas here and there. The Bladeshow people were mostly accommodating and understood. So whenever they realized there was a huge chunk of us that weren't part of the early bird, they actually let us just kind of stay right at the front of the general admission line.
Which we would have been at the front of anyway, or been over at the main. But
we weren't cheating anybody out of their place in line, really. But, communications maybe could have been a little bit better. But, hey, there's, they were expecting like 10,000 people or something crazy. So
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly. So, Bladeshow finally comes around. Well, we did meet a couple of guys in line behind us, two big dudes. I mean, they were like big, burly guys. One of them was a tattoo artist. I don't remember what the other one did.
Super friendly. I mean, just crazy easy to strike up a conversation.
They pulled out some of their stuff. We kind of showed them what we didn't have anything on us. We flew into Atlanta, so we went into Bladeshow.
Felt very naked.
Very bad experience. So I think I was the last person to buy something to fill my pockets. We'll get into that here in a second. But two guys were awesome. We chatted with them the entire time we were waiting to go in, and we even actually ran into them. I think it was like day 2.
Yeah, end of Saturday.
Yeah, we were over by Manganas. And they just wanted to see like, oh,
what'd you guys get?
What have you looked at? What have you liked? And they were sharing with us what they liked. And I mean, the camaraderie and everything that's there is phenomenal.
And it was so crazy that, I mean, they wanted to see the $40 and $50 couple that we picked up, but they wanted to see the $40 and $50 stuff. They wanted to see the $500 stuff. They didn't care. They were just genuine enthusiasts, and they were happy. They showed their stuff, and again, BS'd and asked how we were doing, how we liked it. It was...
And then, they had to show us what they were carrying, and I mean, they had some good stuff, and they pointed us to a couple of people that were really interesting to go see their work as well.
Yeah.
One of them they pulled out was from Arcane Designs.
Yeah.
And dude, just wicked blades, and
super
those guys
cool
were super cool. And then the big guy, the tattoo artist guy, he pulls this thing out. I knew what it was immediately. It was from Something Obscene. It was that massive like cleaver that they make. And dude, that thing was amazing. It's like 6 pounds in your pocket, but it's awesome.
And I don't have small hands, but he made the knife look.
He did. And
a normal size, and it did not look that way in my hand.
We will get into that too. Jonathan and I think take a little different approach on what we look for in knives and things like that too.
There's some common ground. But
there is. He tends to be more like kind of, I won't say classic knife guy, but he likes his classic like clean lines and things like that.
Smaller.
Man, you throw a funky blade at me, I'm all for it. So, so we get into the show, and first things first, let's talk about the makers and the people that we met in general. I know we've really hit on how awesome they are.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reoccurring theme.
So I initially went in, since we were going to the baller room, we did have a couple places that we were trying to hit there. One of them was Edgy Blades Works. Dude, I love his designs. The tipper's like one of my favorite knives that I've ever seen, but he actually had another design that I was going after. And we got in there, and the only knife he had left was the one that he was actually raffling off. So, or by auction.
Auction, basically. Yeah, one or the other.
And but we got a chance to chat with him.
Nice.
It's crazy when you tell somebody, like, dude, your work's amazing, and they're just so like, oh, I just appreciate that so much. Like, that's really, and that's been kind of the ins and outs of the whole.
It didn't seem forced. Like they genuinely appreciated it.
Yeah, and I mean, and Edgy doesn't make cheap stuff. I mean, like his average like price tag that I saw sitting there was like $995, something like that. So I was a little bummed there. So my next one that I wanted to hit in that room of all things was Grimsmo.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I was looking to spend money on day one. So we get over to Grimsmo, and John Grimsmo's standing there, and he's like just kind of looking down, and there's like 6 sheets of paper across the table.
They've got 3 massive tables. They've got their display up, and there's sheets of paper only.
So apparently his order, or his like what he shipped to come to Atlanta from, because they're in Canada, so was hung up at customs, and apparently it was in customs in like Nashville or somewhere. It was in a weird spot, and he never got his order. Like he said, it's supposed to be here tomorrow morning. And I was like, all right, awesome. I'll come back tomorrow. That'll be great. We'll get up early and come in, and we'll see what, and I'll keep bugging you until you get them in. And he's like, well, I really appreciate that. He's like, I know there's a lot of people that are looking to get something. And of course he was also, he had like Fiels and, all of them. He had all of his models. I was looking for a Norseman. So, but he was going to have 6 that were supposed to be coming in. The sad part of that story is he actually did not receive his order the entire time we were there. He found somebody,
a couple of vendors that had some, more. Either way,
and I think he ended up with about 12 knives on his table. That and by Sunday, there were only 2 left. So, and that's just another sign and testament of the people that are there. They're willing to hey. We have your product, so let us give it to you so that you can try and salvage something out of your blade.
Have some of your own stuff here to show and to.
Which I didn't tell you that. I saw on Instagram, Grimsmo was on there, and he was talking. He was like, it actually turned out to be an awesome show because his crew got to actually go around and see everything and check out everything and kind of see what's happening in the knife industry.
I'm sure we'll touch on that, but the last day we got to go back and talk to the guys. I won't ruin that, but that was cool because they showed us something that we had both been really impressed with, and he ended up with one of the prototypes. So,
exactly. So, I'll let you talk about ProTech a little bit because man, those guys were. It's crazy, guys. Wow. Like Protex, I mean, they're a big name in the knife industry. Big name. They pump out volume if they want to, and of course they do all kinds of crazy, limited sprint run stuff too. But I'm shocked.
Yeah, no, and I mean if you follow any of their stuff, the enthusiast group on Facebook, especially Matt and Jen are huge presences there. So I don't know what I was expecting from people that are well known. Dude, they were awesome. They were easy to talk to. They were friendly. They were kind. We got up to the counter, which it was a busy place. Don't get me wrong. But by the time we got there, struck up a conversation with Matt. We were BSing. We got off topic on guns. He's an avid shooter. Super cool. And by the end of it, so what do you want to see, man? And they had some of their custom stuff, the Damascus, Cambria, the TR stuff. Multiple $1,000 knife. He's like, hey, you want to see it? Didn't care. Handed it to me. Not the one with the diamond inlay, but I'm sketchy looking. I get that. But they didn't care. They were happy for us to see stuff. They were happy for us to handle knives. And I had been sending stuff back and forth with Chris. They had just released the Cambria 2. They had done the enthusiast drop with the copper Techno Carbo inlay. And then I held my horses because I was hoping for something at Bladeshow, and they started dropping the teasers for the Cambria they were going to drop there, and I was a sucker for that. So I ended up with the Cambria 2 with the teal Techno Carbo, and I mean this thing is just a delight. Yeah. It fits the hand nice. It's a little bit different design from the other.
Yeah, and it's redesigned even from the original Cambria.
Yes, so, the original. Cool looking if you're into that. I know it fits the hand beautifully. This one's a little less curved, and for me it fits right, it feels right. The action's great for a flipper, and their integrity button lock is awesome. Love it. And Matt went out of his way because I had to buy one other. I've got number 15 of both thanks to Matt, so appreciate you guys. So I got number 15 on the Cambria 2, and I got number 15 on the Bladeshow TR3 with the battle worn gray and the blue PVD right Sapphire. Yeah,
I was so pumped with the gray that came out. And when I saw the initial pictures, it's hard to tell in pictures sometimes. Is it going to be like they're like DLC coating or like they're anodized, and then it's going to be like kind of just rubbed off so it looks battle worn? I was really hoping it was going to look super
something
silver.
Like the pictures.
In person, it's way more than even what you see.
Yeah, I'm absolutely tickled with how it came out. Plus, I'm a sucker for their blue PVD stuff anyway. Yep. So to have matching number 15 on both of those made me pretty happy. But, not to be outdone.
So we, the funny thing is that Ben, who was with us, was the only one to cut himself, and he did it more than once. I came prepared. We're going to a knife show. Somebody's going to cut themselves. I'm probably going to cut myself. I had my crossbody bag, and I had Band-Aids and things like that in it. And we were up kind of checking out, and Ben had kind of disappeared, and he came back, and he's got like paper towels around his finger. And we're checking out, and Jen was who was checking us out at ProTech. And I'm in the process of getting in my bag to get Band-Aids out, and I have them almost out. And she's like, I have Band-Aids, hang on. And she comes around the corner, and she's like, I got a brand new box.
It's the only box I brought.
Of Princess Band-Aids, man. Those Band-Aids couldn't have gone back in my bag any quicker. I was like, he's getting a Princess Band-Aid.
Yes.
So, we went to, hung out at ProTech for quite a bit of time. We even talked,
Matt, Jen, Dave.
Yeah, Dave, the CEO of the company.
Dude.
Jonathan was kind of giving Matt a little bit of shit, and Dave thought it was great. Like, I think he would have joined right in, and we had a picture with all of them at one point. He's also, I wasn't paying real close attention to all the like owners of the companies and things like that, but I knew who they were whenever we saw them. He's the only one that I like. Anytime if the show was open and that booth was open, he was there,
dude.
Period.
And it's not like he hung back. He
was up, chatting it up with everybody, and just jumped right in. I could see how I think ProTech would be a cool place to work for sure.
Like, you can tell those guys like what they do and have a real passion. Yeah, you want to show them what Ben cut his finger on?
It wasn't this one in particular, but yeah, I got the show special with the whisker too. Dude, it's just massive, like 4.5, 5 inches of sapphire PVD. It's the one that, like, the bolster locks. Actually, it's not a bolster lock. It's like it's towards the end of the scale at the bottom of the handle. Yeah, this. If my Vero's not in my pocket most of the time, it's this guy. So
true or false? Half of it's because you like the look that people give you when you pull that.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Like, man, that thing flacks open, and people are like, "What is that?" And then they see the blue blade, and they're like, "Oh, what is that?"
What is
like
that?
The what is that changes from like I'm kind of scared to like, oh, that's really cool. That's really pretty. Like, let me take.
If you're
going
to stab me, at least it's going to be pretty.
Exactly.
When you stab me.
Exactly. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, just wandering all the places. I mean, we had conversations with big and small makers alike and everywhere. And it absolutely blew my mind on some of those.
Well, and while we were in the baller room, we ended up over at Zombie Tools just because we were there and they had a big crowd. And it had only been, 12 hours since we had seen a couple of the guys. And they recognized us, showed us some of their stuff. Ben, love him to death. We'll keep referencing him. If I've got a type, Chris has a type, Ben gravitates towards a type. And anything big, crazy looking, fun looking, looks like it'll lop off an arm or a head, Ben was all in. So he was looking at
care to like unleash the inner 14-year-old.
No, and that's one of the many reasons we love the guy.
Yeah.
Again, on my side of things, I'm over there talking, and I see a cool little fixed blade, and I was like, "Hey guys, what's that?" It's nice that you noticed it. We did a short run of these for a Christmas 2 years ago. I think they said 2023, and we only had a couple of them left, so we brought them with us. And I don't really own anything worthwhile,
not fixed blade wise.
So this is there. And
it's the tiny
field utility knife, and I'll just let you draw your conclusions.
The field utility knife was an acronym.
Yes, so we'll leave it there for rating purposes. But I mean, such a cool little blade, and again, for something that I didn't have. And the guy started talking that you can kind of tell which guy did the etching based on the pattern, because. And it was 100% him acting like Salt Bae. He's like, sometimes I do it like this. Sometimes I just... Again, these guys' personalities, just awesome. Yeah. So I couldn't pass that up. It was a cool little knife, came with a cool sheath. And I got to buy something from those guys.
Those guys, if I remember right, they're out of like Missoula, Montana.
Yeah, we actually talked about that. I've got a little bit of attachment due to my little brother out there. So it was, again... just one of those random things to talk with them, and they were happy to talk about it. It didn't have to be a knife; it could be family stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. One of the other cool conversations we had, I bought a knife on the last day because I think I finally wore the vendor down a little bit. But we went by the Bastinelli booth, and it wasn't Bastinelli. It was one of the people that was working there. But he was a super cool guy. He was probably 60.
Yeah.
And he sat there and looked over this knife, and he was like, "I've got one of these." And he's like, "It's an older one." And he goes, "And it's crazy to say this, but it's like the quality has gotten even better than like mine." And we'll talk about that knife here in a little bit whenever we kind of show everything that we bought.
Yep.
But I mean, we talked to that guy for probably 25 minutes.
Yeah.
About blade steels, about different ways to use like Bastinelli knives, because Bastinelli makes a lot of different things. He deals a lot in like self-defense and like those kind of knives. Also a lot of just big heavy choppers. He had some really cool axes, hatchets and axes. A little reminiscent of Winkler, but definitely with his take on it. Super cool. Beans blades.
Yeah.
We didn't even run into them until the last day.
Sunday.
They had amazing stuff. They had like the Technicolor stuff, the like light reacts.
Well, and how his folder worked, where you have that finger groove, it's built in. It's just super cool.
And funny enough, like we were standing there talking, and oblivious me, I start to reach for a knife over here, and we're super nice about it, but they were like, "We're doing a live feed." You're like, I've looked everywhere on YouTube and other channels because I know the guys that were there shooting. I was trying to find my fat hand reaching in, and they probably edited that out. So, I felt terrible about that, but they were still like, I mean,
no, it's fine, it's fine.
Even Derek like stepped away from the live feed and was like, and sit there and talk to us for like 5-6 minutes before he went back to
while they're doing the live feed.
So, it just goes to show you that they know that like every one of those contacts counts, and that they really, really want to reach out. And they really, I think, just enjoy talking knives and what they do with people.
Yep.
So OED EDC. So that is one-eyed. Oh, it's OEG EDC. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yep. One-eyed ghost. OEG EDC. Dude's name's Eddie. Dude, he's a character. He makes some phenomenal knives, and we found out like after we were looking at them. I mean, nice folders, super sweet fixed blades. Fixed blades he'd only been making for like 3 or 4 years, and folders he'd been doing for a year. And they were
his wife, some of the husband-wife
best ones I'd ever seen.
And their presentation was cool.
Like their presentation was cool. They were like an old school pizza delivery place.
Yeah, and they were just so easy to BS with, and they were down to earth. And every time we'd walk by, we'd get the side glance, or they'd give us crap. We'd give crap back. Just so approachable and fun. Like I could hang out with them and be happy.
The first interaction we had with them, we probably talked for, 10, 15 minutes. But he throws this shtick out there, right? He's like, I'm really good at guessing what kind of car you drive.
Oh, shit.
Like, really, really good at guessing what kind of vehicle you drive.
I was fairly confident.
So we were like, okay, bullshit. Like, whatever. So Jonathan's like, okay, what kind of car do I drive? He doesn't even miss a beat.
No. Preface this with the fact that I've owned 34 vehicles in my life. So I'm real confident he's not going to guess what I drive.
So the question goes out, oh yeah, what kind of car do I drive? I mean, instantaneously, he's like, F-150. And I was like, holy shit. He is genius.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he drives.
I've had 3 in a row now.
I think it was funnier that Ben, who was with us, first thing he said was a Subaru. Sorry, Ben.
Yeah, love you.
I promise I've seen his kids. He doesn't drive a Subaru. If you know what I'm saying. It took him a few tries for me.
3 tries, I think he got.
But he finally, because he first said
it was trucks all 3 times.
Like a Tahoe or something first.
No, he went the same as him.
Yep. He thought, because he had a 84, right?
Colorado, yeah.
And he said something else, and then Jonathan mentioned that I drove a lot of miles. He's like, oh, you drive a Tundra. He was right. So, and I do drive a lot of miles. So, super cool guys. We ran into them several times when we were there, talked with them every time. Had great things to say about all the other makers.
Yeah, dude, again, like...
It really feels like it's like a big family. I'm sure there's some...
And that was probably... He was one that was very... To the point, he's like, any of these vendors or makers that you don't want to be around, you'll be able to tell really easily. They'll be sitting back and
like sitting down at their table, like in the back corner, like don't really want to talk to anybody. And I really didn't see a whole lot of those,
other than a couple of good old boys. I mean, past that, realistically, no, it was friendly and fun and easy to talk to.
The next one we're going to talk about is it was a really cool experience for us. Manganas Steel. Sharif Manganas is the he's everything for that company. He's the CEO, the maker, the brains, the vision, the designer, and dude, he's just a cool guy, just a super cool guy.
Sweet man, super down to earth.
We talked to him for it was like 30, 35 minutes, something like that.
Really felt like we were starting to bug him. Not from anything he said, just we felt bad for taking up so much of his time.
But the guy makes some sweet knives. He apparently comes from like a car background, and he also had a drone company at one point. So, he likes the mechanical things, and he likes things that works. He had some crazy designs that he actually showed us at one point, the things he's working on. He's really trying to push to move some of his manufacturing for those knives to the U.S.
Currently it
is Riot that is making them. This was one of my big surprises of the show. So this is the Aurelia by Manganas Steel. Titanium handled, titanium hardware, Magna Cut. Dude, this thing is so clean.
Love the lines and all the small little details that he worked into it. You can tell the man designed for a living prior to knives.
I mean, the on the tuck when it goes in, like the line where the flats start versus the grind, like it lines up perfect with the handle. The thumb studs are just immaculate. Runs on bearings, but also came with thick phosphor bronze washers.
Depending on how you want to use
depending on how you want to do it, if you want to roll it, but of course with washers, also keeps all the dirt and grime out and things like that. It looks like it has a front flipper and can be used as a front flipper, even though I just messed that up. So, but it was never designed that way. It was just the way the blade was. But since it was going to be like that, and he knew people would use it as a front flipper, you may not be able to see that. I can take some photos later. He jimped it all the way up there so that you had something to get your thumb on whenever you decided that you wanted to front flip that.
There you go.
So, but yeah. And then even so much as he has a buddy who does a lot of customizing on Chris Reeves knives. And I didn't know this, but apparently
thumb studs are not.
The thumb studs are something that gets changed a lot on Chris Reeves knives, I guess. We haven't really delved into the depths of Chris Reeves yet. Maybe changing soon. But he replaced, or his thumb studs are one of the most used thumb studs to replace on Chris Reeves knives. I've handled Chris Reeves knives. I think this is what a Chris Reeves knife should be. I'll say it now. You can hate me or love me for that. I love this thing. I know we ran into Isaac later, and I showed it to him, and he was even super shocked and impressed. And for the price, I mean, it was $280. And
any of the hate that Chris gets for saying that about a CRK, meet him at EDC before you throw him under the bus. It surprises the crap out of me. I know it's not U.S. made, but dude, the attention to detail. And I just, again, I like clean lines. Normally, I don't go for something quite this big either.
Don't embarrass yourself.
There we go. Where's the Band-Aid, right?
Yeah. I didn't bring it with me today.
It blew me out of the water. And he's got a few optional, like the Timascus.
Yeah, he does have the Timascus back spacer and pocket clip that you can add on. He had a fully dressed version that he was doing for like his auction and for his showpiece. It had a cool Damasteel blade on it that was
insane.
Unreal.
It was gorgeous.
It was unreal. Yeah, Sharif, man, he's doing great work.
Such a nice person.
He is. He's an amazing person.
He posted a couple things to Instagram, and our ugly faces were on.
Yeah.
Again, the man didn't know us from Adam, and we saw him. They do the pit over at the Waverly, which is a gathering afterwards, and we ran into him there, and we walked up. Man, we don't want to bug you. We monopolized enough of you. No, guys, I saw you and I was excited, and he showed us some of the designs of the new knives he's working on, and dude, it's kind of surreal that it was that easy and that natural, I guess. Felt like we had known the man, and he didn't care to BS with us.
Funny enough, I follow him on most of his social now because of Bladeshow, and he dropped a YouTube video, and he showed the same pictures he posted on Instagram, and we weren't in them, and I was kind of like, oh, I guess we didn't make the final cut. So, but he actually did a little section in his video where he talked specifically about us and how he really felt like he's a pretty introverted guy, and that we actually kind of like gave him a little mojo, and that he was like kind of reinvigorated to go out and go after it. So, yeah, I'm touched that somebody would just from an interaction like that. But dude, the guy, I think we're going to see big things from Magana Steel at some point.
I sure hope.
I really do. I hope so.
I wish nothing but the best for him. He was super cool.
We got a chance to Chip Steele. That was a pretty interesting conversation. I forgot Chip's last name. I'm sure some of you know who it is. He does a lot of videos and a lot of social media on like dual action knives and things like that. We were actually looking at another vendor that was right beside him. Latama. Yeah, they had some cool stuff too. They had some slide
release
automatics where you got to push the scale up.
A nice flipper.
They did have a nice flipper. It's the
Yuki. Latama. Cutlery. Yuki. Cool button lock. I think it was titanium scales and either 20 CV, I think, blade.
I think it was 20 CV.
Super neat.
Cool people, but Chip was kind of right beside him, but I think he was also kind of working with them because he had a couple of their knives that he had customized. He had a Hawk there that was ridiculous.
Crazy.
And he had done most of the work on it. He does a lot of engraving and etching and anodizing and things like that, customization stuff. And he goes, let me show you guys some things that I got. I was like, okay, cool. And he pulls this knife out that to me at first glance looks like just like a traditional, like almost like an old timer. Like one, the trapper
like
blade.
grandpa's.
The trapper blade comes out this way, and then you have like a secondary smaller blade that comes out. But he goes, check this out. And he pushes, like, it's stag handled and it has the shield in the middle, and he pushes it, and lo and behold, automatic. Chunk. And then on top of that, it was a 3-bladed knife. So the auto was in the middle, and the 2 other ones actually came in around it. And it was perfectly centered, perfectly everything. Like the engineering in it, I can't even imagine.
No.
And it was a Ridian knife, and it was called the Riddler, which is RHIDDLER, Riddler.
And it won
an award at Bladeshow.
Most innovative something.
It was like most innovative collab or something like that.
A couple of years back.
But I can see why. Because
it was crazy.
It was insane.
It's super cool to see.
I'll try and drop a picture in on the video so that you guys can see it, because it was super cool. And then he pulls out a couple of old Hawk knives that were toads. If you've never seen one, they're wild. So the locking mechanism is like in the middle of the handle, like the scale's actually broken in 2, and you get it open, and then that locking mechanism, you like pull it back and it closes. Crazy cool knife.
Yeah. And he had 2 of them.
And it's insane to see Hawk's early designs there and like what they're making now.
Yes.
Because, I mean, I guarantee there's no difference in quality and craftsmanship. And quality's probably gone up because, he's got more tools to work with. But, I mean...
But to see something like that from early on.
Right.
And the innovation and the craziness.
I think I could have stood and talked to Chip for days.
Well, you follow him and watch a bunch of his videos.
I mean, it's some of the stuff he has is insane.
A hand sword.
Yeah, he does like a hand sword. A little envy going on there with some of the things that he pulls out.
For sure.
And can show you. But cool guy. He was like, dude, we can talk as long as you want. And that was day 3 too, I think, whenever we ran into him.
Towards the end of it, even.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move into maybe some things that we saw and liked, and I kind of want to start off with like some comparisons, because I think Jonathan and I saw a lot of things that were comparable that we liked between knives and companies, and some things that stood out a little bit for both of us. Let's start with some OTFs. What did you?
Well, you're setting me up for this because I know the OTF. If you had it to do over, that you'd probably go after would be from Mr. Chavez.
It would be.
So I'm going to call you out on that. And we had talked about this, prepping for this whole mess. He's like, man, that Dissident really spoke to me. That's probably the out the front that I should have bought while I was there. And I've got nothing against it. It was freaking cool. The cross hatching. I'm sure you'll see some of his. I would have totally
gone for the road rash one. Yeah,
I'm sure you would have.
Oh yeah,
because you'd use it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got nothing against it. I thought it was cool. I think he's doing awesome things. I've got some Chavez stuff. I like him. This is not a reflection of him. I was just super impressed with Core Edge. The guys are out of Arkansas. They're vet-owned, vet-made, everything U.S., and the OCD in me loves how minimal the outside is and that the damn blade is centered. I know you're going to make it. I don't freaking care. I thought it was awesome. And the guys were just, again, super easy to talk to. I mean, holy crap. They're happy to talk to you about it. They can tell that we're excited, which gets them excited.
Yeah.
Again, throwing names out. Isaac has mentioned a couple times that he's tried to get them to come up for one of the blade swaps that he has at the shop, and schedules just haven't met up. But I know that's high on his list, and I am all for it.
Yeah,
just clean lines, feels phenomenal in the hand. Kind of a minimalist on the casing for it, and
that wave pattern.
Wave was super cool, and the blade shapes that they offer was awesome.
Yeah. They even offer a double-edged Tonto,
which was crazy.
Which is right up my alley.
1,000%. I wish I could remember his name. Had a beautiful beard. Awesome guy. I held it in my hand. I was like, is there any way that, the pattern could wrap around so you had full grip on the back? He's like, dude, that's a fantastic idea. I'm going to go home with that. Whether or not anything
Sure.
Dude, I don't know a damn thing about designing, but just the fact that he seemed genuine, he's like, yeah, actually, that would be kind of cool to have the extra grip on the backside.
Yeah.
Whatever. I loved how clean, simple, and damn it, the center blade made me very, very happy.
The center blade was definitely one of those things that kind of took me back, because I don't know that I've ever held that form of a out the front that had it centered like that, and
this was like what was crazy for me to find out. This was their entry into knives is a U.S. made out the front. So swinging hard.
Yeah.
They didn't start with a simple folder. They didn't start with a fix. And nailed it. Yeah. Holy crap, did they nail it.
So it was a great design, and I think it was really, really good. And I was super impressed with those guys.
I've got a feeling one of those will end up in my collection.
And the price point on them was actually really good.
Yeah,
so I think
3-ish.
It was between 3 and 4, depending on what you
I wish I could remember. And I'm sure it's on their website.
You can, I won't cast stones, but you can get a live wire for close to that.
Yep.
So,
and I've got one.
And you get something that's made in our backyard almost. So,
yep.
My pick for the out the front was Axial. These guys are out of Utah.
Yeah.
Super nice guys.
Holy cow! Yeah.
It's just good, clean out the fronts. They had some good designs.
That white, they had.
It's still on their website.
Yeah,
I've many times been like, I should.
How much will my wife hate me?
Yeah, exactly. Especially since I bought something else.
Well, and the guy came there, arm in a sling. So, dude's hurt. He's winged, and he's still happy to talk and happy to show his product. Yeah. And they're out of Utah.
Yep, they're out of Utah. But great action on them. The button was, sometimes you get some of those older Microtechs that are real hard to actuate and do things. This super, super sleek designs.
Yeah.
Good finishes, good colors that they had.
Packaging was nice on it.
So, I think it's kind of a toss-up for me. I like both those guys. We'll go with big brands. What was your favorite big brand that you saw out there?
I'm going to be a sucker and go back to ProTech.
Okay.
Right? Realistically.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. I like their stuff. They were fun. They were easily... I spent the most money there. That's not me saying
I did not.
No.
So.
You didn't tell the last day.
No, I didn't get that at ProTech.
Yeah, but you got that at ProTech.
Yeah, sure. But
what about you?
No, I think ProTech's an amazing choice, because that's just talking to them. I could have gone there and not bought a damn thing, and just sitting there hanging out with them, talking, doing everything. I'm sure she did it to everybody, but we bought stuff, and Jennifer gave everybody a hug.
Yeah.
She was like, we really appreciate your business.
She did. And swag bag stuff. And so the day we took, I don't remember if it was Saturday.
Took a picture on Sunday.
Okay. So we're getting ready for the picture, and I think Jennifer had a friend or an acquaintance there, and we're getting ready for the picture, and Dave's over to the side. He's like, do you want me? I guess you can. Yeah. He's just laughing about it or whatever. Yeah.
So, I think that's a solid choice. I'm going to go with Chavez on this one.
I had a feeling.
I love all their stuff. I've got 3, 4 Chavezes. 3. I think it's 3. I'm getting to that point where it's hard to keep count. Super cool guys. Hey, Ramon had a line. Dude's a rock star.
Start to finish.
Everybody was there. I wanted to maybe have a second to chat with him, but I would have waited in line if I was buying something, but I ended up actually not buying anything from him.
Which is weird.
It is a little weird. That may fall in my regrets somewhere.
Yup.
2 ways. Just the stuff that they had, and dude, it's obvious it's a family-run business.
Oh gosh, yeah.
They're all super nice. Also, the kids were back there like, "Hey, you want to see a knife? You want to do this? Want to do that?" And I'll hand it out.
Even if they did no prices, let you see it. They'll go ask. Well, and one of the days when it may have been after Ben picked his, and I'm sure we'll show his Chavez up. Ramon had a brief lull, made eye contact. He smiled, nodded. And I shook his hand, said, "Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Love your stuff. We've been having a good time with it. The family's awesome. And thank you. I appreciate that.
I even saw a story where there was like a lady that had been waiting in line, and she saw them walking past to go into the exhibit hall. And she was like, "Oh, I love you guys. I'm so excited. I want to check out." They came out with a new crossbar lock, which we can go ahead and throw that out there. Ben bought this. It's going to be their budget line. $80, guys. Yeah. Crazy. At least at the show it was $80. I'm not sure what it's going to be once it hits the street. I wouldn't imagine too much more. Thing's sweet. But the lady was like, "That's where I'm going. I'm going to buy one." And Ramon pulls one out of his pocket in the box and hands it to her. And he's like, "Well, now you don't have to buy it. You can just come see me." Huh. And just goes to show you what kind of people they are. Yeah. And also,
it didn't feel like an act.
In order to make the Dissident and do that, Ramon and his family literally picked up shop where they were and moved to Utah so that they could manufacture
more friendly to out the front.
So I know a lot of their stuff's made by Riot, but I think with doing that, maybe some of that's going to change. I don't know. We'll see.
Be cool.
So it would be cool. Would be very cool.
And I know Isaac did a video on this. His initial impressions. This thing surprised me. I've got a street blue line and love it because it's a chunk of a knife. I didn't have anything in LMAX. This is D2
on that one. Yeah, aluminum scales.
And it's thinner. It's notably thinner.
It has a thinner liner in it. They're kind of skinny. They're not full. But aluminum
still feels
on the
nice.
Back.
Fidget factor? Definitely there.
Dude, it's all there. It's a Chavez. And the thing is, you pick it up and you immediately are like, "Oh yeah, that's a Chavez." Like it just feels like a Chavez. Awesome little knife.
Especially at the price point. I mean, not that the blue line stuff is priced terribly, but if you find yourself not wanting one, A, be it price, or B, be it heft, freaking cool. And how do you argue?
Love it.
A couple of different colors, couple of different blade shapes, couple of different blade finishes too.
So this one's kind of a weird category, but you'll understand why they go together. We'll kind of throw this into button lock. And my pick's going to be kind of weird for a button lock. His is actually, both of them are kind of weird for button locks coming from where these companies came from.
I'm thinking you're setting me up for Corncraft?
I am not.
Oh.
For a button lock, I'm going to set you up for Machine Wise.
Oh, crap. Yeah.
That's speechless.
Scary.
That's kind of the way we were, speechless.
Because realistically, spending $200 and $300 on a knife is still a lot for me. But we get back to Machine Wise. Presentation's cool. The case is cool because it's 3D printed, and they give you a coin. The coin's left over from the bolster material. Again, I'm throwing Isaac out, but he's got some on the website. They've got some that are just fairly simple, classic, unfinished titanium. And you can get S90, you can get Magnica, you can get 20 CV. They do some laser etching on the blade. But holy cow, I mean, the tolerances on these things is insane. It is the ultimate, to me, gentleman carry out of something that's still got some blade behind it. It's got some length. I was blown away. I couldn't stop playing with the stupid thing. The finishes that they offer are crazy. They go stupid fast.
So Machine Wise, if you're not familiar with them, they were born out of making balisongs.
Yep.
Cool balisongs too. I mean, we saw some at the table. They were awesome. We are not balisong guys. The day that me and him pick up to learn balisongs, we're probably going to have missing digits.
And probably have to just do this full time.
Yeah, exactly. So they moved into this folder category, and I'll say it's the best button lock I've ever felt. Period. There's just frictionless. Like,
it blew my mind. I mean, even that night we saw Isaac, he's like, "Well, guess what, guys? Yeah. I've got something to tell you. I'm going to be a dealer."
Yeah.
So it took a little bit of validation that we were so impressed with it that the local shop owner was.
And they're not cheap. They're talking like $775 for, kind of the plain ones. Yeah. They kind of go up from there. I think
got some cool fades.
Isaac had a brass bolstered one that was actually like $750 or something.
Yeah, cheaper, which I like the contrast.
I would have had the brass,
but I guess if you compare brass to titanium, brass is cheaper.
But you're thinking like a machinist at that point. Like,
which is why it's priced that way.
But
the rest of us want the patina.
I think I read somewhere they were hoping, because they're a real small operation too, they were hoping for like $40 a month or something that they're pumping out right now. So,
but the tolerances and the fact that, there's a couple
It's obvious that there's a couple people working at Machine Craft that are obsessive.
Machine-wise.
Yeah, machine-wise.
And they've also got the Mojave, which is
Yeah.
more up your route, not button lock, it's frame lock.
Yep.
Freaking cool design. And again, you can tell it's the newer drop. I think this the Sonora has been out
it's been out
longer.
for a little bit. The Mojave's the new one.
Yeah.
And it also, their case that it comes in is kind of crazy. It has like a screw top on it, but when you get that screw top off, it's the driver for all of the hardware on it. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they had a couple there that they were selling in their auction that were nuts. Like you couldn't touch them.
I've
like
looked,
they were like, please don't touch these.
No. And I've looked secondary market. I mean, because they do some cool anodization on the titanium. They do some fades. They do some patterns. They do different laser etched patterns into the blade.
Yep.
So, I mean, it starts at $750 and then it goes up. But man, I cannot oversell the action on that thing, opening and closing. I've never felt anything like it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So,
fixed blades. You want me to go first?
Sure.
So I kind of had a little bit of a toss-up. I actually carry a fixed blade a lot. I have two that go in my rotation quite a bit. They're both Tyler Denny knives. We love Ty. He's local here.
Yeah.
He makes amazing things.
He's got some really cool
makes
stuff.
The Patriarch and the Apprentice. I have one of each. The Patriarch I carry if I'm needing to, a little bit bigger of a knife. I can even show you that right here. I did bring it with me. So I love this thing.
And there's actually wear on the blade. So
wear on the blade.
He uses his knife.
So I actually brought this along because of a purchase I made, and we'll talk about it in a minute. But then I also have the Apprentice, which is kind of almost like a little harpoon-shaped, well, it's not like it is. It's a harpoon-shaped like street scalpel. Thing is super thin. The one I have is Magna Cut. I got the limited run one there's one of 10 from Springfield EDC. It's got
digital camo.
It's got the urban camo. So it's got the it's gray and black camo. That's Sigwo, who's local to us here in Springfield, also did all of the Cerakote on it. I love that knife. You can throw it even in I can even throw it in like your fifth pocket on your jeans, and it doesn't go anywhere. You can throw it in your pocket, and it's just like having a pocket knife, only you got a little more leverage, a little bit longer handle with a short blade. It's easy to use for just about everything. That being said, I put Winkler up there.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of torn between them and Stroop. Winkler just has cool designs. They're cool people. They're like the guys that work there. A lot of them are in like law enforcement and stuff like that, so they know like what to use. In fact, Winkler, and I cannot remember the lady's name. I'm drawing a blank. They were both inducted into the Bladeshow Hall of Fame
while we were
there, which was super cool. I mean, some of the stuff they make. I mean, Winkler's been around for a long time, and their stuff just works.
And their show special, that red and black fixie was cool.
That thing was nice. That thing was
super
real
cool.
Nice. So, what do you got?
I mean, I already talked about my fixed blade.
Okay. Zombie Tools.
Zombie Tools was great. T-Kel.
Yeah, T-Kel was a good one.
Holy cow. And circling back, picking on poor Ben, they did provide him with a Be Less Dumb pack of Band-Aids for the next time.
Yeah, they did.
But those guys were cool, and they've got some awesome designs, and that I guess to touch on the handle material they were talking about, it's kind of a proprietary mix.
Stroop had that. Stroop had the proprietary handle material.
I thought the glass, the
they
polymer
are doing it too, but they do like a. It's
Stroop
like
had that grippy one that I really, really liked.
Yeah.
But then the polymer, the SIG based.
They said it was like SIG and Glock based polymer, but with more glass in it.
Yep.
It did feel good. Stroop, they had like it was like a micarta, or they also have like a G10 type version or like a polymer version that is layered with nitrile. And when they do it, when they do the contouring and stuff like that, it was so comfortable in the hand.
Didn't matter how wet your hand got; it felt like it would have grip.
If I had to pick a fixed blade regret that I didn't pick up, that was
one of those.
So good. That or the Agent 007. I should have grabbed that at T-Cal. I knew they were going to sell out of them, but I should have. But
how next year?
How about like your smaller maker, like titanium style, like
TRM? I think is where I'm getting led for this one.
We can go there.
Unless you were...
What are you thinking? Well, you can throw one out there.
No, I mean, Corncraft had
Okay.
cool stuff.
We
TRM.
haven't really talked about Corncraft.
No,
That's
because we didn't see them till the very end. And again, I hate saying it, but shoot, every night we came back to the room, we'd watch videos or see what other people post. Crap, how did we miss that?
Yeah.
And we walked our butts off.
Yeah.
And we still missed stuff.
Corncraft was crazy though, because like their stuff was like milled to the nines.
Yes, and you look inside, the milling's beautiful.
That
Just
toxic purple they had on some of those.
freaking cool.
And the funny thing about that was like I had watched a video on Corncraft. I couldn't remember who it was, and we were talking about it that we needed to go. So I pulled the video up in the hotel room, and it happened to be Neve's Knives, and we were watching it. We watched the whole thing. They were like, "Yeah, it's cool. Let's go check it out tomorrow." So we're standing there talking to them and everything else, and they were like, "Oh, how'd you hear about us?" And I turned around, and Neves is walking up behind me to like shoot at their table, and I was like, "Actually, it was this guy." So then we got a chance to talk to Jared a little bit, and he was a cool guy too.
Very.
But yeah, no, it was. I think they make a great product.
Yep.
I think they're going to be a big one to listen to and hear coming up. And watch and see what they do. They've got 2 designs they've got out now. I think technically it's 3 because they had the Neutron Star 2 or whatever that came out that they sold out of.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
No, it was cool, and they were friendly.
Yeah.
German?
He was German. She was
I think so.
Asian or something. Oriental.
Yep.
Some sort. But yeah.
Super sweet. Married couple.
Amazing. Apparently, he has like the machining background and all that. She's a designer, so that kind of worked out. And she came from fashion, so he makes cool, sharp things, and she makes them look pretty.
Yeah,
I like it,
and it worked.
It works. It works real well. I'm going to go back to Magana sometime with that.
I don't blame you.
We'll probably talked enough about him, but I mean,
again,
dude, like this is ridiculous,
and it's the right size for you.
I've carried this a lot, and I love this thing. So can't say enough good things about Sharif. Got any wild cards? Something that stood out to you different? Something that was kind of threw you off?
Yeah,
I know I've gotten you've got a elephant in the room sitting there that I never thought that I would be like, oh yeah, that's super cool.
Me and Ben ended up with one because we were both impressed.
Yeah,
K-Bar. All I think of is cheap fixed blades with a bad reputation, but they have done a very nice job of fixing that bad reputation. So budget friendly. That guy was $60.
Yeah, it's their State and Union line. It's the FO1, if I remember right.
That sounds right.
Dude, it was kind of crazy talking to the guy there.
Yeah.
So
well dressed,
show me yours, because that one is the fully dressed version. This is a one of one, guys. Like, this is the only one of these that exists.
He said this is the only one they made with the oil rub bronze with these green patterned aluminum scales.
And what's the steel on that?
Oh, it's kind of cool because they've got it in 2 different places. If you look in, it's Protomax, which it was the deal clincher for me.
Yeah.
Not at all a style I normally go for. Not even colors that I would normally find myself. This oil rubbed and the dark green looks beautiful. Lockback, not my thing.
Yeah.
But, and it, flickable, cool. No. Holy cow, this thing's freaking cool. And
super cool.
I'm a sucker for thinking I've got something special. Yeah. And I was just blown away with this being a U.S. made knife. Super cool new steel that I don't have, and there's not a lot of it out there yet, in oil rubbed bronze.
Yeah.
And price point surprised the crap out of me. 150 plus or minus. And they had others.
Yeah, this one definitely made my regrets list. I got sidetracked and started talking to the guys at Winkler that were like right around the corner. They had a handful, 10 that
20.
were like one of ones. And got to talking to the guy, and he's like, yeah, we went and got the droppings from a tailor, and we made micarta for a lot of the scales on these, and they had some really cool ones. And I should have bought one.
One of them, they did such a crazy job on like the spine and the back spacer. They matched the like copper-colored micarta vein down the entirety of the back. It was insane.
It was awesome.
Truth be told, I really like that one color-wise over what I bought. The moment he told me this one was Protomax, I was sold. So yeah, that one surprised me. And truthfully, it came with its own little card that tells what makes this one a 101. That guy, the budget-friendly one, is in a much more budget-friendly packaging. It's plastic, clippy box.
If you've ever bought something that they make for pews to be quieter, it's that like clicky clacky box that goes together. So that surprised the crap out of me.
I was worried at the time that I just hadn't bought a knife that day, so I needed to buy something.
FOMO's real at Bladeshow.
Dude.
So I feel like you're missing out on something.
Yeah, and we totally skipped over the Ben single-handedly kept these guys in business.
Yeah,
we were stressed about being naked day one. So what do Ben and I do? We find the first sub $50, $40 knife that felt nice in the hand. And it happened to be the dang honey badgers. I had to spend entirely more money than Ben on the $40 Bladeshow special one because it says Bladeshow on the side.
These don't deserve to be this good.
They shouldn't be for the price. Mine was 40. I think these any of the ones 30, 25, 30 in that realm. Ben bought 5.
I think so. He gave a bunch away.
Yep. He had
got that flat grind all the way up. I mean,
fits in the hand. It's flickable.
I mean, the choil, you can pinch grip on this thing all day. This is the bigger version.
Even the little guy with, again, I wear large gloves typically. Yeah. It's just kind of insane.
It was a choice.
It was. I immediately felt better that I had something in my pocket. And, I've got a funny story and a $40 Bladeshow exclusive.
That is true. I don't think they made that many of those.
No. A little bit of regrets, not a lot of regrets.
And by that, they probably had like 5,000.
Probably.
But,
hey.
The guy was super cool.
Oh, gosh. So. Yeah, gotta love the accent.
Yeah. So, I think that was a good one. So we were at the Axial booth the last day of the show.
Yep.
We went back because I was really I'm going to buy an out the front today, I think.
Yes.
I didn't. We got sidetracked while we were there. The guys at Axial had some sort of phone call that came in. He had to take it. But there were 2 other guys standing there, and they were from Dark Pines.
Yep.
And they're out of Washington State. They had some of the coolest folders I've ever seen.
Most gentlemanly carry.
Solid, brass fixtures. They had some with inlays. They had some with solid brass. I'll get a picture up there on it for it. They had
it's like a scroll work thing.
Almost like a scroll work mechanism off of them that you could use. One of the cool features about it is the serial number
is on the back.
Was on the back side of the scroll work piece. So whenever you opened it, it actually started to indent the brass.
And that's the guys made a point. They're like, we know when you actually use our knives, and we like it when you use our knives because we can see your serial number on the back by the number of times you're opening it, holding it, gripping it, using it.
And I know Ben and I went to their booth later and saw all the stuff that they had. Super cool. They actually got their start in the fidget market of all things. Their name of their company for fidget stuff is called Hog Doggins. And apparently that he's an avid hog hunter.
Yep.
And there's their battle cry when a hog's down. They say Hog Doggins. So, and it became
cool
what
guys.
it is. And, dude, that folder is probably going to be on the top of my list for the next Bladeshow. They also invited us whenever we come, if we go to Bladeshow, Texas, apparently some people like to go race at the Dallas Motor Speedway, go-karts or something. Yeah. And he was like, just show up, we'll get you in.
Yeah.
So, they, super cool guys.
Friendly.
Something I'd never expected. It's not a knife that I would ever carry. It's kind of like a K-bar, right?
Came out
but
of
I would proudly carry it. It comes with a beautiful leather sheath that they make.
Yep.
That,
pouch for it, the
throw
belt
in your
carry.
pocket. I didn't even have a belt carry.
Did it not?
It's just a slip to go into your pocket. And
I'm saying, gentlemen.
Amazing. The craftsmanship's insane. Aurora Knife and Tool. That was an interesting one.
Yeah, it was. Theirs is the dark truffle and the truffle. The truffle. So, dark is the darker one, but they also had some crazy splatter painted customized ones. The action was crazy. The people were cool. The display was nuts.
Lots again, the titanium handle kind of. That seemed to be a pretty heavy theme at this show.
Which is weird because you're the only one that ended up with a titanium, and I swore up and down I was going to end up with one, and I didn't. And Arcane, I know we mentioned them earlier. They had a super cool display. The guys were appreciative. They legitimately asked for feedback on how the stuff was displayed, what we thought of the knives.
They did have a sweet display, though, man.
It was like black lava rock with backlit red and
with
white.
All their stuff, all their knives are very color. Like a lot of them have splashes of color on it and everything. It popped really well. And
I think they said they were kind of going for that classic lines, pushing it with like sci-fi vibes. They were just cool, and the display was awesome.
They've got a model, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one that the guy in line showed us. But that may be on the list as well next time around. So
I hope the wives don't watch this to see just how long this damn list is going to be for the two of us.
I've only said 2 things so far, so I don't think I'm going to be in that big of trouble.
Sure, I will be.
But I think they had really, really cool stuff. We got to bring up Bald Man Knives because cool guys to talk to. The first time we really talked to them and everything. First of all, Ben completely gravitated to these guys. They make big, burly, crazy. Even they're like small, like
tiny
scalpel size. Like the
blade steel's a chunk.
They're like at least 1/4 of an inch thick that they're using. And it was, and they also supplied us with energy drinks.
Yeah. We didn't even buy anything the first time.
You want an energy drink? Yeah, sure. We've been here all day.
They had a mini fridge the size of the one behind me, full of Monster.
They just handed them out. So Ben showed them some love later.
Because he had been
I'm
looking.
not even sure I can get this in the camera. But, he went all out. He went big and he went home.
Yes.
So, this thing's wieldable. It's crazy.
It's crazy what it feels like in hand.
Huge. It should be heavy. It's not. The grind on it's amazing. The contouring is amazing. It's comfortable. The only thing I would want on something that big, I think I'd want a little bit more of a finger guard up towards the front.
Yeah,
but I mean,
why?
Don't have to. Came with this badass Kydex sheath that I told him as soon as he bought it, I said, you're going to Ulticlip and you're going to buy a couple of Ulticlips and you're going to carry this thing around for the whole weekend. And he did.
Yeah, Ben's impressionable.
He totally EDC'd it the entire time. We were sitting at a restaurant. It was a Cheesecake Factory.
Yep.
We got cheesecake on our way back from the pit one night. And he's like, man, it's kind of hard to sit down because this thing's like flapping out here.
I just hear him sit on the wooden bench and you hear thud, thud.
And speaking of Ulticlip, that's one of the reasons why I brought my Ty Denny Patriarch. So it's going to be kind of hard to see on there, but there's this spring steel Ulticlip that's on here, and the UPH. They dropped this at Bladeshow that weekend. I talked to the guy. He said that he knew the ladies back in the office were busy. He looked at numbers that day when it came out. Apparently these sold really, really well. Guys, this is a game changer if you scout carry. If you're going to clip this to anything.
Minimal, but it holds. Holy crap, does it hold.
Spring steel, like it's tight. It doesn't go anywhere. Dude, took like 5 seconds to put it on.
Wasn't it the guy at wasn't it the Winkler show special?
Show special Winkler come with this equipped. T-Kel, actually, I think he dropped some of his on there that had them on it. That right there told me that it had to be a winner of some sort, something solid. I have carried this knife more with these on here.
Just because it's usable.
Dude, it's crazy how well. I'm actually kind of looking at maybe putting some on some holsters too, just to see how they hold.
Yep.
Because they make a skinnier version also that would look well for that. So, Ulticlip
not just stabby things, but
Ulticlip knocked it out of the park. I even had this on the list before we ever got there.
He did. He made me put that on the map.
I did. I said put Ulticlip on the map, and he was like, "Why?"
Just do it.
So he's like, "Shut up, listen to me."
Fair.
He listens well.
Sometimes,
most of the time. So, Vosteed was another one.
Yeah, and I mean, we can probably put that one on our regerts.
We can a little bit. I also think that I can kind of couple Vosteed, Kaiser, Riot into that a little bit because, we see them online all the time. We see they're like kind of budget-friendly lines, and then every once in a while they'll drop like a banger that's a little more.
Yep.
But until you get them in hand and you're like, well, what am I buying? Am I going to get this in? I'm going to be like, this isn't what I wanted. Dude, solid stuff.
Yeah. The one, and we all kind of sat there. We're like, man, this surprised us. For one, they had enough color options that the three of us were like, hey, this is going to be our Bladeshow knife.
Yeah.
The Vosteed Thunderbird. But again, it's in my realm of size for like a Kershaw Iridium or a bug out or, I mean, even my Bel Air. It's in that very usable, thinner, and it surprised us. The action was awesome. There were some cool colors. It fit in the hand really nice.
Yep, it did.
Surprised the crap out of me because not typically...
And it's not 100% something that I would normally carry, but they had some wild colors and some cool like fat carbon stuff that I was like, okay, I
could get behind that.
Yeah.
So it was a nice middle ground. Well, maybe closer on mine.
Yeah.
But we didn't end up. We saw those Friday and thought, let's keep looking, see if there's something else we all really like.
Yeah. They rolled on.
They had one left.
One red, one red and black one.
So
it
surprised us. But with you on the Vosti, the Riot, and even QSP, they had some freaking cool stuff. Cool things.
Jonathan, I think, should have gotten paid. He was taking pictures for one of the ladies because she was too short to see when they were doing the raffle drawing at the show. So Saturday they did a raffle, Sunday they did a raffle.
I think they did them a couple times a day.
Yeah,
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it was the Knife Gods or Karma that I took photos for it every time.
Yeah. I had to have been that.
Had to. Because Sunday...
We got 3 tickets because we were there together. So we just kept them together. We were like, well, whoever wins, whatever.
Yeah, we're not going to win.
Jonathan was nice enough to take pictures for him, so we decided he got to keep the knife because we actually won one of the raffles. And it's actually kind of a cool knife.
It's super cool. And what was crazy is this was the last raffle they were doing. It was Sunday noon or 1, whatever it was.
Because the show shut down too.
Yep. So we were there, and Ben had the tickets, and Chris was at the booth right next to it talking to the guys there. Again, super cool.
Yeah. I think that's when I was talking to the Bastinelli guy.
Yep. So Ben and I were over there, and they drew the first one. They had 3 knives you could choose from, and the guy that won the first round picked out a cool-looking little fixed blade.
Yeah.
And then second number was drawn, and I just hear Ben go, "Oh, crap, we won!" So I walk over there.
Like that, too.
Yeah, a little deeper.
I really thought it was him here for a minute.
So we go over there. He's like, "Well, I mean, you pick. What do you think?" And I don't know why, but this Osprey was calling to me, and I picked it up, and it surprised him. It's a freaking chunk of lead. This thing weighs 4 times more than you expect it to.
Yeah.
But it's Bladeshow 2025 on it. It's a really nice shape. It's flickable. And it's a $50 or $60 knife.
I think it might actually be made of lead, though, handle material.
I mean, it's just...
I don't think I actually really even looked at this knife, or even... I know I didn't handle it until yesterday, whenever we were kind of pulling stuff out of what we were going to do in this. And Jonathan handed me this knife, and I was like, holy shit, like, where did this come from?
And, I mean, it locks up great.
Yeah.
It's a great memory piece.
I want to see something. It's like twice the knife. It weighs more than the whisker. It's insane. I mean, like, if I didn't know better, if I saw this from a distance, I'd be like, oh, it's like patinaed brass or bronze.
I mean, that's the look they're going for. It's got to be steel.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, and it's a nice shape. And again, it's in my realm for size, shape, profile. I'd have to wear 2 belts or this thing would pull my pants down. It's ridiculous. But it's cool. I never win anything. Yeah. I mean, I won a third of something, I guess.
He didn't actually win. I did. I gave it to him.
Yeah, that's how it went. So
we like to make sure and beat him down.
I feel better. Yes.
But solid bangers. These are going to be companies that I know you guys have probably heard of.
Yep.
But TRM.
Yep.
Dead Reckon.
Yes.
Spartan Blades.
Surprised us. Holy crap.
And then I kind of threw Stroop in there for the fixed blade.
Yep.
I've heard of Stroop. I got to handle them.
I haven't handled. I'd seen their stuff online.
TRM, I mean, dude, they're like one of the best manufacturers in the country.
And I love that they don't sell the big stuff.
And they got a little fixed blade they released at Bladeshow that's badass.
It is. I'm still a sucker because I like my crossbar. I fidget. I'm a Bulldog fan. And I really thought, probably, if I'm being 100% honest with myself, if one of these Pro-Techs had been sold out, I probably would have ended up with the titanium Bulldog, and it may still be on that list. Yeah. But I've seen some of the customized scales that people are doing. It's a shorter, chunkier knife.
It's
But
funny
it's
because
cool.
like the first time I handled TRM knives at Springfield EDC, I always feel like they're too thin. Like especially the titanium ones, they're too thin. I kind of have to eat my words on that a little bit because of what I'll show you at the end. Because I went thin. But I think they make amazing things. They were great to talk to.
Yep. And they were busy. Holy cow, they were busy.
Yeah, I think they're like they're right there. I mean
they've got.
Yeah.
I think they're going to come up.
Dead Reckon. We'd had our hands on some of their stuff.
EDC, and the guy was cool. He's also freakishly tall.
Freakishly tall. But he has some other stuff in his lineup. If you've handled what Isaac has at Springfield EDC, he has some other things in his lineup that are really cool.
I don't guess I realized that. I mean, he offers some open. Instead of a thumb stud, it's a hole opening. Some different finishes, some different blade shapes.
He has a line of carbon fiber handled stuff that he brought out that they weigh nothing.
Dude, it's weird.
I mean, they're not cheap either.
No, but you still get
American made, amazing.
And you get some blade behind it for it not weighing anything.
For not weighing anything, it's a lot of cutting action.
Yep.
And super impressed with that, with what he's doing over there. And Spartan blades.
Oh, dude. Saw their stuff there, some crazy stuff. Man, the designs. And then, again, it was gratifying that we were so impressed by it. Isaac loved them. He bought a bunch to be a dealer. So and there's been comparisons that price point, quality, attention to detail on par with Chris Reeves stuff. I mean, it's U.S. made.
Yeah.
You've got some amazing blade steel. You've got some really cool designs. The large size Harsey is a little bigger than comparable large
the Harsey
Sabenza.
is like the designer that's like customizing them and doing that kind of stuff because they have some really cool designs. They have a Kilroy design, which I don't know. I told you kind of what that was from. But
I like the clock one. The clockwork one is neat.
Like the Kilroy is like the World War II soldiers would paint it whenever they went through villages and places to show that they were there.
Plague Doctor.
And,
they have
a King Tut one.
Yes.
Super cool designs.
Just cool. If you haven't looked into them, look into them because they've got some awesome. And their lines are kind of a classic. It's not. I hesitate to say it's not edgy. Not like they're an old thing. It's just it's that classic thicker at the back end.
Yeah.
They're neat. Yeah. I've got a feeling one of those will end up in the collection.
I do like some of the smaller designs.
Yes.
I wish they'd do some of those like graphic stuff on the smaller ones.
Agreed. But even the plain stuff, like the contrast with the blue and the brass.
Well, we've showed you most of what we've purchased when we were at Bladeshow. A couple of them that I know I picked up that I didn't show. A dealer had a ProTech SBR with the P Ultim. So you either love it or hate it. I had to grab this. He had a good price on it. It was brand new in the box. Super awesome. Gotta love that.
Blade HQ exclusive on that Ultim,
right? It was an HQ exclusive at some point. I know Ben got himself a little Newport.
His second ProTech.
Yeah, super awesome, super clean. Love this little
Love that. I mean, again, I know I'm a ProTech fanboy at this point, but for a gentleman carry, this thing's awesome.
Got himself an Auto Iridium. This thing's badass.
That's my fault.
Great show price on this one.
Yeah, they were running like 25% off.
This one was actually, they sponsored a lot at the show, and they were, I guess they're fairly new.
Yeah.
But Rosecraft, they make some amazing stuff, and
especially at the price point.
Not very expensive. I mean,
there wasn't anything hardly there.
Aluminum handles and decent blade steels. I think this one was like
154 or D2 on something. But I mean, nothing at their and they had a large area over against the wall. Nothing was realistically over $60, and most of it was between that $20 and $40 mark.
You got a pen.
Yeah. So I'm a sucker for Olight. My wife got me the Baton 4, the little guy. It's the cool like fighter. Either way, I like it. I carry it. I love the recharge pack. I write enough for work that I thought, well, why the heck not? This is the Olight Pen Pro, which is awesome, and I know it's going to destroy our camera if I do this, but I mean...
Yeah. Cool stuff. I like it.
Refills are easily found, and the thing charges by unscrewing the top and your USB-C ports right there. It's freaking cool. Laser on top, LED in the clip, and still got your slide style Pen. Yeah,
That's
loved
awesome.
it. Ben picked up his little Olight
Yeah,
because he's got an old baton
little
like yours
clip.
as well.
This one I like because it's got like the, does the angle, which is super awesome. Still has the magnet, so you can get in there. Super awesome. Like that. We got some cool lights.
Yeah. Why I needed to spend $80 on a pen, I don't know.
I think that's cool though. I mean, you can like use it for so many different things.
Well, and I've always got a dang pen with me.
And
so
whenever you have that annoying cat running around the yard, you can make him
or
chase
child.
the
It probably works with toddlers.
I have a German Shepherd that I know would love it.
Yeah,
so,
oversized cat.
Yeah, basically, at least with his mom, not with me. So I guess we'll go with the elephant in the room.
Yeah, the thing that you wanted to buy and that you may have been steered back past that spot.
Day one, we get by a booth at Hellacious is the company.
Hellacious Blades.
And they had a couple of Norsemen.
It's actually, I think, where Ben ended up buying his Newport. They had a great price on it, and they were nice guys.
Yeah, they're
easy to be
awesome to be with and be around. They had a fair price on their Norsemens they were brand new, never been used. I think he got them as a dealer, from what I understood.
Yep.
He had a really fair price. He was even like, I'll give you 25% off those. I was like, ooh, that's tempting.
So this has been a grail knife for Chris. He's talked. I know Ty Denny has one. We've looked at them. Yeah. It's not my blade shape, but I absolutely appreciate the attention to detail. The colors they do, it's wicked looking. It's cool. The box it comes in is freaking cool. So I get it's not one I want. I'm probably more apt to one of their Rasks, but I understood that this was a grail for Chris. So I'm not subtle.
I saw my first Norseman probably, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, those things are awesome.
Freaking cool.
Funny enough, from Edgy Blade Works, the tipper is the one that I was looking for. We talked about him earlier. Similar blade shape. Concept actually makes like the production run for Edgy of the tipper. That was a little bit of a fiasco because I thought if I couldn't get one from Edgy, Concept will have the tippers there. Yeah. And I went to go get one and they didn't have any on the table. And I asked, and the guy was like, oh, I think we've got a couple actually. And he digs under the table for a few minutes. And sure enough, he found the black on black with like the copper rim on it,
which was cool.
Around the pivot. And then he pulled out the one that I'd actually looked at was with the Damascus blade with like the tiger stripe anodizing on it. Just a sweet knife. I was like,
that's what
awesome.
I want.
That's it. He's like, okay, let me go double check the price on this one real quick. And he comes back and he was like, they told me I can't sell it. I was like, wait, what? Like I'm standing here, cash in my hand. And he's like, yeah, they're supposed to be giving it out to some media people. And I was like, seriously? Like,
slightly disappointed.
They need all three? And he was like, yeah. He's like, that's just, she told me I can't sell it. I was like, okay, cool.
May have pushed you.
Whatever. So it may have pushed me over the edge a little bit. But Day two we went by, and of course Jonathan and Ben are like, "Oh, we have to go by Hellacious." I'm like, "Why?"
Oh, how'd we end up back over here?
And I'm like, so I get it out again. I'm messing with it, and he comes down like another $50.
Yep.
And he's like, "Yeah, that's what." I'm like, and I'm still like, "Man."
Him haw.
And I put it back in the case, and we go on about the day and everything else. And Sunday rolls around, and we go back by Hellacious, and I think he just wanted to move it. Like he was like. Just threw a ridiculous number out at me. That was like, I looked at him and I was like, and I'm sure I played it off a little bit to them because they were both kind of like, whatever. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. And they were both just like, oh, finally. So, I'm super pumped about this, but that's my Grimsmo Norseman. And the story doesn't end here with this one. I love the coloring on this guy. It's kind of a blue, purple. Mm-hmm. It's got purple back spacers. Just absolutely stunning. It does just have the one thumb stud, which the guys at Grimsmo kind of gave me a little shit about, but that's all right. They said if I just send them in an order, they'd send me the double thumb stud version to put in here. Which brings me to, after I got this, we were coming close to the end of our show, and I said, "Hey, we should go by Grimsmo and see if they ever got anything or see how it went."
Yep.
When we got back over there, there was just 2 of his tech guys were there, that work in the shop, and I was like, they saw the case, and they're like, "Oh, what'd you get?" Like,
you ended up with one? You found one?
And I opened it, and they took it out, and they were sitting there, and the one guy, he flicks it open a couple times, and he looks at me, and he goes, "You mind if I tune this?" And I was like,
we need to call him Mr. Orange. He was wearing orange. Yeah. Everything he had on him was orange.
But yeah, he had a big orange beard on top of it. But yeah, he's like, "You mind if I tune this?" And I was like, absolutely not. Like,
does anyone ever say no?
You can do whatever you want to do with this knife because you work for Grimsmo.
Yeah.
And dude, like after that, I mean, this thing is like
guillotine,
dangerous. So yeah, and then of course, he was like, "Hey man," he's like, "anything ever happens to this, you lose a screw, anything, whatever,
hit us up."
He was like, "Send us an email. Talk to us." He's like,
we'll get it taken care of.
We'll take care of it. We'll do whatever you want.
And again, the presentation, like the box this comes in, looks like a miniature Pelican case.
Yeah, exactly. And I couldn't be happier with that purchase. And
my favorite part of that whole thing was when he got it back together, and he's like, "You've got the oil, right?"
Yeah.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you smell it?
Yeah.
Who the hell smells the oil? The best part is that he's like, I mean, we're from Canada. It smells like maple syrup. And I'll be damned, it smells like maple syrup.
It smells like maple syrup. So, but yeah, that's my first like big grail piece that I think I've ever picked up. And it won't be going anywhere anytime soon. So we're really, really, really impressed with that. Really liked that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So what we know now, right? So what would you do different?
Go to the main hall first.
Sure. Get in the right line.
Yeah. My big thing, comfy shoes.
Sure.
I'm glad I brought a backpack.
Yeah.
What would I do different?
Yeah.
Man, knowing what I know now, about the same approach that we did. Sure. I'd still have the makers I wanted.
Yeah.
But there's a few added to it, and I'd try and hit them real hard. Yeah. Probably, and it was a bit of advice that Isaac gave us that we didn't heed. I'm not super upset we didn't end up with the Thunderbird, but if there's something there that you want and you handle it, grab it, because someone else is going to like it and it won't be there.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my biggest thing was like, I think I'd spend more time talking to everybody.
Which it's not like we didn't spend time.
It's really funny. I think honestly, next time I might go with the idea of like just 2 or 3 things that I want to pick up, and if I do, I do, and if I don't, I know there's going to be a surprise in there. Yeah, somebody's going to come out with something that's absolutely amazing. That being said, on that, what's your 3 pickups that you didn't make?
My regrets.
Yeah.
I mean, Thunderbird is it was cool.
I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Again, it's hard to do that with 3 differing tastes, 3 differing guys. The one that surprised us, and we didn't even mention because they're a huge maker, Hogue.
Yeah,
I've handled some stuff. The Misto, I've done I think they call it their collector series, where it's the titanium scales and either black or stonewash, tanto or drop point. But they had one that I guess released while I don't know if it was specific to Bladeshow or just timed with Bladeshow,
right? But
the Misto Water, which has like this topographic blue rich light scales, and the price point's like half.
But it was like haptic; you could feel it. It wasn't
felt nice.
Just etched. It was seriously etched
instead of just
like
a pattern
or something.
And
so really,
it felt
cool.
nice in the hand. But again, we're in that realm of little thinner profile than a bug out, but longer blade. Felt nice in the hand. U.S. made, Magna cut for Bladeshow price was like $152, $155. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Really liked that in hand. Kind of wish I'd picked that one up because they were sold out. They had given us coupons to match Bladeshow price, and I missed that. The other one, I'm going to come back to my freaking ProTech stuff. I've got a soft spot for the Mordax. I think they've done a nice job on that. Ben's got one that's a really pretty, that darker blue color. The Bladeshow one, you did sell him that knife to his wife's utter and complete.
It's a little bit of a chagrin to me too because I don't have a Mordax now, and I actually really liked that one.
I wish I had picked up.
The first time I flipped that out, Ben was like, "Oh,
yes."
He was saw the look, and I was like, "Okay."
And the man carries it.
You need this more than I have, and I've seen that in his pocket more than anything else.
So that's probably up there on my list for regret. I wish I had picked up the Bladeshow. It was beautiful Tiffany blue with the pearl button. Yeah. And again, numbered. This is our first Bladeshow. It's sentimental. It won't go anywhere. That one, a little bit of a regret. What about you?
Hey, one of those K-bars, I know I talked about that. I kind of wish that I would have picked up one because there was like 10. There were one of ones. That would have been really cool to have. It's also a cool piece. I honestly kind of wish that I would have picked it up because I think my dad would really like this.
Yeah.
And he carries a lockback. This is a little bigger than what he normally carries, but I think with it being a K-bar, he's ex-military, that kind of thing. He wasn't a Marine. He was in the Army. But, it just kind of spoke volumes.
Well, and I mean, especially now that full U.S. made.
Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah. So one of the other ones, the hot show of the knife. We didn't even mention this once. The Worksharp RMX.
Yeah.
We went there. We were there day one. Had them in our hands. Watched them change out the mechanism to go from a button lock to an auto. It's a sweet knife.
This is not derogatory. It felt like a toy. It was stupid light.
Super snappy.
Very. I mean, and it was just so cool that
I honestly went back the second day thinking like, oh, maybe I'm going to snag one. No, I didn't have that option. They were gone.
And that's, I mean, he said we were there day one, but freaking seemed like so was everyone else. Yeah. That place was always packed.
It was, I honestly feel like that might have been the hot knife of the show. As far as, especially from a company that I think everybody at first was kind of like, why is Worksharp making a knife? But I get it. Yeah. Like, it's cool. It's cool. Very cool. A little bit of an argument here we had already, but the Chavez, the Dissident, a little bit. I know he's going to come out with some cool designs on that. Yeah. That was one of the things that kind of stopped me from being like, they're going to have one. Another one that we didn't talk about that I think I could throw in here because it was before I decided I was going to get the Grimsmo. I had the ProTech Giant Mouse knife in my hands several times.
Yeah.
They're getting ready to do a collab. They had one of like 10 there, or they had 10 of them there.
Did they have 6 of the 10?
They had 10. I think by the time we looked at it, they only had 6 or 7 left.
That's what it was.
But it was, it was mirror polish. It had the mic Erie grind. Dude, it was gorgeous.
It was cool.
It was cool. As soon as he popped out that like, oh yeah, we're going to start probably doing production runs with, different stuff. And I was like, oh.
I'll wait for that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I knew if I was going to drop the money, it was going to be right here.
Yeah.
So.
And you did.
Yeah. So that was pretty much it. Was it worth it for you?
Yeah. Don't ask my wife that, but yeah.
I don't think we can ask any of her ones.
No.
But
I had a riot. I'm tickled with what I bought. I could, again, I don't want my wife to hear me say this, so I hope she doesn't watch. I could have probably gone there and not spent money and had a really good time. Yeah. I mean, it was just cool to see the stuff, handle the stuff, and talk with the guys.
Yeah.
I am tickled with the stuff I came home with. Yeah, were there other things I could have bought easily?
Sure.
But
I think, coming from the knife community and like loving, just being an enthusiast in this, like mirror what Jonathan said, you could just go and look and hang out and talk to people and be around a bunch of other people that are just like you and like what they like. And I think one of the things that shocked me the most of like touring all the tables and everything is like, you think to yourself like, oh yeah, eventually they're all going to kind of look the same and this, that. And you know what? There are a lot of dealers where there were like some I won't say copies, but you can copy and paste a few things here and there.
Felt a little redundant.
But it always shocked me that no matter what table you were at, they had something on that table that was completely different from anybody else in that show.
And again, Sunday, we were still seeing stuff we hadn't seen while spending all day the previous 2 days.
And, I mean, for a bros trip, you can't go wrong.
No.
Right?
Direct flight out of our local airport. Yeah. And it was, $65, $70 for 3-day tickets?
Yeah, exactly. Hard to beat that.
Yeah.
If you love knives, though, you will spend more money there. So just be ready for that. And it definitely will happen. So anything else you want to add in here?
No, man. I guess takeaway from all this, we had a riot. If you've ever been on the fence about it, man, go. Everyone's friendly. It's cool.
Just go.
Find a place. I mean, you don't even have to stay at the Waverly. We stayed close around there, but find a place close. There's plenty to eat. Brave Stadium isn't super far from there. Like, just Bladeshow itself, I'm planning on going back next year.
We haven't done Texas. We haven't done the West. I know the West is supposed to be a smaller show, and Texas is even a little bit smaller show, but it's gotten a little bigger, I guess, the last couple of years. So there's one fairly close to everybody. Yeah, man, just go. Just go and check it out.
Shoot.
So yeah, that's kind of my closing. I mean, I can. Yeah,
we can sit here and talk here for another hour.
Again, like I said, Springfield EDC, he does not sponsor us in any way, shape, or form. We just love Isaac and his store. We lovingly refer to him as our crack dealer because we like to spend money with him.
And he's easy to talk to. I mean,
if you're in the Springfield, Missouri area or around Southwest Missouri, Northwest Arkansas area, or if you're just traveling through, go visit Springfield EDC. It's 1312 East Republic Road in Springfield. Or you can go to springfieldedc.com. He's got an ever-rotating case of
his used stuff, random.
And, he's very, very monotonous with like how he looks over everything to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck out of
attention to detail. His prices are good.
And
he's closed Sunday and Monday.
He is closed Sunday and Monday. But so that's going to be the wrap-up for the first Two Knives Crew podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, come check us out on our socials. We'll link them down below. If you really want to, you should subscribe. Yeah. And smash that like button. And
we're all for, likes, dislikes, suggestions. We're open to it. We're new to this.
What do you want to hear? We know we have an ongoing list of what we want to hear, but have a great one, and we hope to see you again.
Take care, guys.